is not here.
Is it too far to talk about it? Because you see that it seems very simple, but it's not as simple. Even the simple word like now, see, it seems like we learn a lot about now, but actually it's not moment of being awakened to understand it. So it's just like listening in a dream about whatever appears. When there's no condition to really understanding it, it cannot appear as it is. So each word brings more about understanding what we take for now. And this is the first Ariya Satya. See, everything relates and concerning about the Four Noble Truths. So it's not the moment of trying to understand the Four Noble Truths, but now it is the first truth of the Four Noble Truths, the impermanence of this moment, so fast, so very rapidly, that it seems like nothing arises and falls away at all. That's why just one word like now, there are so many things to learn about in order to detach from the idea of I or something permanent. We can talk about the Pajya, we can talk about all the teachings of the Buddha, because just now, what are there? That which arises to experience and that which is experienced, that's all. But ignorance has been accumulated long time ago, so no matter how much we heard the teachings, it's not enough. As long as reality does not appear as he has enlightened. That which experiences, see, just one word, now, it doesn't appear as the element which is conditioned to arise just to see. Only that, not more than that at all. It cannot think, it cannot do anything because it's conditioned to see. That's all. It's gone completely, absolutely, not to arise again at all in the samsara. So each moment just arises and falls away in split seconds. That's why when we talk about now, so many realities to be known, to be studied, in order that another level of understanding can condition direct awareness and direct understanding of just that which is there. Only that. And this is the first Ariya Satya.
Yes. You often explain that what arises and then falls away, never to return again. And I was wondering, when we are at the pariyatti state, still without thinking to understand that it doesn't return, that it is dukkha, that it is unsatisfactory, I was wondering, because pariyatti is not thinking.
But pariyatti is not just hearing and thinking, but it's studying what appears now, whether the words can bring about more understanding of not self at all. Because there is seeing, it doesn't mean that there is no seeing. There is seeing, but not enough understanding of seeing. That's why we need hearing more and more and more to be conditions for direct understanding, another level of understanding, which is the developing of understanding the Four Noble Truths, just one truth, and then go on to the third, to the fourth. Right now, so many things, realities, arising and falling away, unknown, until we hear more about seeing is seeing. It cannot be I or anyone or anything at all. Hearing again, it's conditioned. That's why it's only the development of understanding of reality in daily life only that will bring more understanding of They are only different elements conditioned by different bhajya conditions, that's all. It's like discovering the truth of what is here and now, and anytime, anywhere. But it's not discovery of other things, but the nature, the element of that which now just appear because it's conditioned to arise, but it falls away instantly all the time. That's why it's so very difficult to learn to become detached from clinging, taking it for I or something permanent. And this can be directly experienced not by anyone but by right understanding only, developed from hearing, considering, and knowing that in one's life from birth to death is so nonsense each day, because only seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, thinking, feeling better or worse every moment. That's all. Yesterday is finished. What's today? Again, repeated all the time. But no understanding, and right understanding is quite different. Because from birth to death, one lives without any understanding at all. Or the idea is about I and I and I and I. I am thinking, I'm hearing, I'm liking, I'm disliking, or is I. But actually, what's there? The object, which is object of attachment, completely gone. But attachment is still accumulated in one's mind, keeping on from life to life. That's why there can never be the object which is not the object of attachment. Because whatever appears, ignorance is there, attachment is there, unknowingly. We learn that the rupa arises and falls away, but before it falls away, citta arises 17 times of one rupa. So we think that there's sound so short because we think that we hear the word, not the sound. We think that we see people, not visible objects. This is the continuous arising and falling away of realities each moment. That's why from life to life, nonsense, unless the moment of understanding the truth, so true of whatever appears. The truth is no self, but there are realities, that which experiences and that which cannot experience. But there's clinging with ignorance. Whatever appears is object of clinging. That's why, by understanding this, it eliminates the attachment with hope and wish to direct experience it, because it's beyond anyone's dream about it. That's why Buddha said, we are in a dream or sleep, not wake up yet, until a moment of understanding is there. So what about this life? How much understanding and how much time wasting with attachment, ignorance, pleasure. So now it's very important, because there's so much to learn about it in order to become gradually detached from, taking from I, because of less ignorance. If one does know that one has ignorance, does one understand anything about now? So, even the first Ariya Satya is very, very subtle.
Yes, and it is also attachment. It is also attachment that we wish to know the difference, that it is not thinking all what you say now. It's we may think about it, of course, but the pariyati level is not thinking about the story.
So by hearing one can understand how much one get it, the truth of the words of the Buddha.
Yes.
It's not the direct understanding or satipatthana or patipatti yet, but without the understanding from hearing, considering. If there's no understanding of that level, it's impossible to have conditions for direct awareness, because direct awareness of what? Of seeing right now, of thinking right now, of hearing right now. Because there is attachment to seeing, to hearing. Whatever appears in life today, they are objects of attachment and ignorance. That's why it has to be so very natural, because ignorance is there naturally.
Yes.
And even when we mention considering, it's not deliberately considering. So, like now, hearing about seeing, hearing about visible object,
Yes.
it is about the first noble truth, but it's not like making a special effort to deliberately consider, but by hearing, naturally there will be conditions to consider wisely because of the accumulation of considering before, but no one doing anything at all.
But it is different from thinking the story about the truth. It's not the same.
That's right. We can read about the story, and we can learn the Pali terms, but this is not the wise considering about reality right now, no matter whether we call it the truth or pariyati or anything else.
Yeah.
What is real now is what appears at a moment of touching. Hardness appears, no thing in it, just a moment of experiencing now. So it's not a matter of deliberately considering, but understanding what is appearing now, what is real at this moment.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise it is just thinking about a story, not understanding.
So Ajahn explains many things worthwhile to, and it happens natural that there is considering about it afterwards. Maybe that can be natural. Yeah.
And again, depending on conditions, because we may hear about it and think about our lunch, or anything can happen. So whatever kind of thinking there is, whatever kind of considering, whether it's wise or unwise considering now, it's just by conditions, paccaya, no one who can do anything at all.
Yes.
But we know that the condition for understanding to develop is wise considering, but that doesn't mean anyone can make it arise. Just because we're here doesn't mean there's going to be wise considering. It just depends on different paccaya at this very moment.
Yes. And we don't have to call it pariyati. It doesn't matter. It is pariyati though, but it doesn't matter how we call it.
It doesn't matter, because when there is understanding of reality, it's hardness that appears, or visible object. It's no pariyati, is just a word, just an idea at that moment.
Yeah.
Just the word. Life is not permanent. Nothing is permanent. See how many times one have heard it doesn't affect. But the panya which has developed can understand the moment of the arising and falling away, because it's so true, it's real. So only when it appears arising and falling away to the highly developed panya, by then the ignorance and attachment will get lesser and lesser. That is the only way. Because now we are sure that seeing arises and falls away, but it's not directly at all at this moment until it's then. It can be, because there are conditions for it, But if no condition for it at all, it's impossible just to try anyway or other way.
And on the point of we don't have to call it pariyatti, we may be thinking that the moment of pariyatti should be quite apparent as different from other moments, but when it's weak, I think it can happen without particularly being aware of it, but we can tell perhaps over time that there is a better understanding of seeing as being different from hearing, or of the fact that there's attachment to seeing, wanting it to go on, or attachment to visible object. If some of the things that Ajahn has been explaining have become clearer over time, not just in theory but to us, then there must have been moments of pariyatti, even though they weren't so apparent at the time.
So what is pariyatti again and again and again? There must be the reality, which is level of understanding from hearing and thinking, considering, until it becomes satchayana, very firm, established understanding of now. It's a reality, not I.
I think we'd like to know the satchayana type, but
until it's so firm.
It cannot.
Until it's so firm, you don't change, you don't have to go anywhere, because if there's no understanding at this moment, no matter where you go, no understanding. So we don't sit like because there's no I. Who knows what will be next moment? Unexpectedly, by conditions, but we think about it, but it's only thinking. And thinking is not self, it's conditioned to think that way, not the other way. Each moment is under right conditions for its arising. Just understand better, that's all. So it built up by this moment to other moment until it's satchayana, and at moment of awareness it's conditioned to arise. That is the proof of because of satchayana, because it's so natural, unexpectedly, but it's different from pariyatti, because you see that we touch many moments from morning up to now, no awareness directly of touching or hardness at all, because so very rapidly, like touching a glass, touching a cup, touching a table. But actually, touching is just moment of whatever appears at that moment, because touching experiences hardness or softness, no word at that very moment, no matter how soft or how hard it is, but that moment it touched. And when panya is highly developed, as soon as it appears, it falls away. To prove that it can be daily experienced directly, depending on right understanding only, not the self or ignorance at all. That's why right understanding, understand rightly, correctly. It cannot be wrong at all. Whether what level of right understanding now, more clear, better, or what. But no expectation, because expectation is attachment or lobha. That should be less and less and less because of right understanding of ignorance and attachment. Because now there is ignorance of seeing, that's why hearing more. For example, what is seen, see, always forgetting that which can be seen. Because you see that while there is seeing right now, and we do not pay attention to that which appears, because there is attention to sound, we don't know about the visible object at all. see, only seeing and hearing, thinking about other things. We don't know there's flower here because no attention. But when we pay attention to it, it's not just visible object, it's something with different shape and form. So it's something permanent. That's why everything is as it is, but the panya is not developed highly enough to really understand now, this moment. That's why Buddha taught for 45 years for anyone to have their own understanding. That's the precious gift to all beings, from his endurance, tolerance, and parami to become Samma Sambuddho. Because if he hadn't developed parami to that degree, it's impossible to teach in details about everything, Dhamma. So each word is really valuable, and there can be more and more understanding of each word, because each word contains right understanding of reality.
I have a question from Kun Sukin this morning, but I didn't have a chance to ask you yet. He said, ask Ajahn how Apo can be object of Samatha Bhavana if it is never experienced in daily life. Apo Thatu. Yes, Apo.
It's only nimitta, because it's not moment of understanding the nature of Apo. Apo is Apo Thatu.
Yeah. Water, yes. And another one is, can we say that whenever there is self, there is wrong path?
Certainly.
And so Visakha is not, Vitaka is not Yana Pacaya when there's akusala.
Jhana or what?
You said Jhana Pacaya.
Jhana, not Jhana.
Jhana?
Yeah.
Maya?
Uh-huh.
It is?
Yeah.
Whenever it arises, it is Jhana Pacaya. Because
strong kusala and kusala.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
Jhana Pacaya doesn't just refer to kusala citta. Okay. So Kim, I hope you listening to this. Answer?
That's why I think that when there is the understanding of each reality, one can see what paccaya of that reality is. When vitaka can arise with every citta without the 10, then it depends on what citta is there, kusala or akusala or vipaka or kriya. But since it's that reality which is jhana paccaya, no matter where it is or when it arises, it is itself jhana paccaya.
So I'm just wondering, for Nina, getting back to the earlier thread, because you ask a lot of questions about pariyatti, and is it not true that the different doorways are clearer? The fact that there are different kinds of consciousness appearing through the different doorways, and that seeing experiences an object that is not, that is a visible object at a general level, clearer than some years ago, for example. Over the years, these things become clearer, right?
I can't remember, I don't know.
But, well, before we heard the teaching, we had no idea about different doorways
No,
and
that's
kinds
true.
of consciousness.
Yeah.
We didn't think about the consciousness and the object of consciousness, right?
Yes.
But
We
now
were just
there's-
absorbed.
yeah, right. It was just a general, homogeneous,
Yeah.
all-encompassing,
Yeah.
combined experience.
Yes, a whole
Right.
collection.
But
of
now
things.
there's much more an idea of these different doorways and the thinking about what has been seen and heard,
Yeah.
right? So doesn't that indicate that there has been a certain amount of pariyatti over the years, because these things are now understood, although understanding is not highly developed, but still there is a degree of understanding that wasn't there before.
Well, I heard not so long ago that pariyatti is always about the present moment, and that makes all the difference. Not just thinking about all the 6 doors and all the 6 objects, but this moment now that Ajahn stresses all the time, that is so helpful.
Actually, she's always stressed that, so pariyatti has always been about this moment, but sometimes we hear and consider what we're ready to hear and consider, because there can be a lot of attachment to just studying or learning details, and we think it's pariyatti, but actually if it's not understanding now, then it's just a study of another subject.
It was not the right moment for us yet, and just Ajahn stressed it so much, we were more open-minded to it, to understand it. But before we may have not well heard it, but not really considered it.
Because actually ever since I remember first meeting, the emphasis was always about what appears now. So it's always about the study of this moment.
Clear. Yeah. In the beginning it's not so clear, but we hear it a lot, and then it becomes a bit clear that it has to be this moment now.
I also think that it shows that so many details about many dhammas, and which are not relating to the present moment. Even studying them cannot be pariyatti at the beginning, but maybe later, maybe after patipatti, after understanding grows, and then maybe later even these details can become object of pariyatti, but maybe not at the beginning. Maybe at the beginning it has to be visible object, and seeing and hearing and sound, and pariyatti about these objects, not about maybe patisandhi patch, condition for the condition patisandhi citta or cetasikas, but that maybe can be understood even at conceptual level, theoretical level, maybe later, maybe when understanding is more developed.
But even if we're talking about patisandhi now, or hadiyawatu, patisandhi is birth consciousness. Even if we're talking about birth consciousness now, it depends on the purpose. It may be just for academic study, or it may be to understand how, like now, there is one citta following another and continuously. So last moment of life, this followed by another citta, and so this is how it is, life after life, like past life, this life, next life, different objects experience, clinging to different experiences, end of this life, continuing the next life. So actually there can be wise reflection even now about birth and different kinds of birth now. So it depends on the citta at this moment. So it's still about this moment, because the citta that is considering is now. So there can be understanding even at this very moment of thinking about patisandhi. There can be understanding of that citta at this very moment, whether it's kusala or akusala now, and the citta that's thinking is just another dhamma, and patisandhi that one's reflecting on is just another citta too. So there can be wise considering of how even that moment is just a citta, not anyone, not any person that's born or any animal, but just a Dhamma, moment by moment. So even that comes back to this moment.
Oh, how come to be this moment?
Sunday.
How come to be you right now? How come to be you right now? Right. From moment to moment.
I think I get your point, and I agree that sometimes even at the beginning it seems totally just words and like mathematics. But then when there's the reminder about now, and then it can condition the understanding of the word. But now, like before when I read about the Patisandhicitta, the last Javana, the rebirth in different realms. So for me it was just like words, okay, playing with words, this and 1 moment, 2 moments, 3 moments. But then when I heard Ajahn saying again and again, whenever I asked that question, that is it now? And then suddenly I could understand that, okay, what I knew just words before, it's about now. So I agree with you that sometimes even at the beginning it's just words, but it can be the bricks that building up that moment.
We don't need to think about birth, just a moment ago and now. See, different moments.
You said that first is good and it's like a break to build up the understand later, but that's what you mean, right? I think that understanding lead to understanding, not about what.
First there must be the words, right? Without hearing the words.
But understanding the word is not about understanding Dhamma, right?
But can they be understanding Dhamma without hearing the words?
Right, but I think there's different object. Different object. One is just word, but another is about Dhamma, even in the level of concept.
But there must be words first, that's it.
I don't know.
So another good example, Alberto, was yesterday, Tam was asking about the moments before death, karma, nimitta, gati, nimitta. So we can read in a book and it may just seem like some academic details about the object of the cittas just before death. But actually we've learned that it's now, because death can be at this moment. So now visible object is experienced, or there's thinking about something in the past, or there's the nimitta of the sense object. So actually it's just about now, and death can come even at this moment while thinking about one of these objects or experiencing a sense object. So I think it just depends on how these details are studied and considered.
Big difference when we are reminded that is it about now. It's a very, very essential thing.
Like we were talking about heart base and Nisya Pachya support condition, and there can be a reminder that even this moment of thinking, it doesn't arise because of anyone's will or wish, but it needs many conditions. It has to have a physical base, a rupa, to support it at this moment. So we learn that more and more about how each reality now has to arise because of various conditions, various supports, and this is the way to understand more about how that the thinking at this moment is anatta. We're not just interested in an academic study of finding the location of heart base or something like this.
One of the things we've heard a lot about now, the present moment, is that the object of seeing consciousness is different to the object of hearing consciousness.
Yes.
And so we've reflected on that obviously quite a lot, and to some extent it's apparent to us. It's no longer just words.
Yeah.
We are able to verify to a degree that what is experienced by seeing consciousness is a totally different object to that which is experienced by hearing consciousness. Now, the moments when that happened over time were not apparent to us, but over time it is, that understanding has been developed to a degree, right?
Yes.
So there must have been the pariyatti moments leading to...
Well,
it doesn't matter, but it is there. It has... It's not as though there's never any pariyatti. It's just that it's not apparent to us on a moment-to-moment basis when there is. But every time of hearing and considering may be contributing to better understanding of these realities.
Yes.
And because it is apparent over time that that understanding has developed, we can have confidence that this is the way, and it happens in its own time, whether it's fast or slow.
I don't like to think too much over time, and it has developed. It seems again like thinking too much, but I appreciate that it has to be so natural, like the example of the object just before death. It makes it so natural the way Achan and Sarah just elaborated on it. That is just like now. But I'm not inclined to think so much over time and this and that. It seems a bit...
I'm not suggesting we have to think over time, but I'm just pointing out that the moments of pariyatti may not be apparent when they occur.
Yeah. But then we are trying to catch, like you always say, that we shouldn't try to catch too much. Is it pariyatti or is it not yet pariyatti?
Yeah, that's the point. We shouldn't be trying to catch it.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan's pointing out that it's just like the axe handle simile that one cannot say this and this, but actually over time understanding develops.
Yes.
So it's no need to work out what has been worn away, but actually when understanding develops, there is confidence that it is developing. That's all.
The confidence, that is good. Yeah.
You know, we talk about over time, or thinking about things in the past or what may be in the future. And I think Jonathan and Sarah pointed this out yesterday, that there really only is now, and it's understanding does eventually come to understand that more. Only is now in the sense that there can be thinking now, thinking about concepts, thinking about something we call the future, but it's still only thinking, and it's now. And it's, I guess over time, we realize that more and more that Dhamma is real, even though there may not be direct experience of it. We realize that it is real, and it is now. I remember at first it was an idea, and it was out there somewhere, different from any way we'd ever heard or ever thought of, and eventually it, as there's more familiarity with it and more consideration, it's, I think that's when the importance of now becomes clearer. And
So it's now only which can be object of direct understanding. That's why don't move away by attachment or wishes to gain the First Noble Truth by trying with the idea of self. For example, what is the object of citta right now? See? No one can tell because from moment to moment it's different. Yeah. Because it's not direct awareness of a reality by conditions. But when awareness arises, it's there, it knows the object, just one object at a time.
And also the point is that by the time you ask, so many cittas have passed with so many different objects all long gone, even just in that moment of asking the question. And
even what are you thinking cannot be told from moment to moment, very fast. What are you thinking?
Already forgot.
so many different ideas in a split second.
And a lot of doubt.
Doubt is anusaya. That can be eradicated by sotapanna, experiencing nibbana.
And when we were in Ho Chi Minh, someone made a comment about doubt as an idea that it may refer to, is this the Buddha's teachings or not? But I think it's, when we talk about vicikiccha, it's doubt about what is real at this moment.
Or
it has
doubt about reality.
About reality now.
About seeing and visible object.
Not a conventional idea of about doubt about whether these teachings or those teachings are right, but doubt about reality. Just following on a little bit from Sukin's question about jhana paccaya and vitakka. So, because there's so much confusion and misunderstanding, so when we're talking about jhana paccaya, we're not talking about moments of jhana or just the jhana factors, because when we're talking about jhana paccaya, the cetasikas involved are not only vitakka, vichara, sukha, samadhi, and piti, but also domanassa and upekkha, 7, and not just referring to moments of samatha development, but whenever these factors arise. And yesterday we talked about when vitakka arises, which is at almost every moment except for moments of seeing, hearing, and so on, and it touches the object and it conditions the citta and the other cetasikas to experience the object by touching it. And I read about, when I was reading about jhana paccaya in Ho Chi Minh, when we were discussing it, it was talking about how the conditioned dhammas, which are the jhana paccaya, condition the paccayopana to
Condition.
the conditioned dharmas of paccayopana.
Paccayupana.
Paccayupana, the paccayupana to, well, it mentioned to fix on the object, but actually, because we can talk about how vitakka conditions citta and cetasikas to touch on the objects, but if we're talking about other factors such as piti and sukha, we don't talk about them conditioning the paccayupana to fix on the object. So if it's referring to all these factors to fix on the object, it sounds a little misleading.
So they can be conditioned for somanasa.
Just condition for somanasa, that's all it means. But it doesn't. So when somanasa is jhana paccaya, then we know that it burns domanassa or prevents domanassa at that moment. But
By kusala vitaka,
by
somanasa or vitaka
together, right? So they work together to burn domanassa at that moment. It may be kusala or it may be akusala at a moment of lobha, also somanassa. So at that moment, but can one say that all those jhana factors fix on the object or fix the...
It performs its function.
It's
touching,
just touching
fixing,
it
yeah.
with happy feeling at that
depending
moment.
on other cetasikas.
Right, okay.
Talked about the jhana paccaya. Is it to stress the point of these cetasika working together?
Well, and also they don't all arise at each moment. For example, many moments of vitakka without somanassa and domanassa don't arise together. So some jhana, some of the factors arise together as jhana paccaya and cause the other the citta and the cetasikas, the paccayupana, to fix on the object or to touch the object with happy feeling or unhappy feeling at that moment. But only certain factors are involved. But anything else?
I think that in order to understand each reality, because realities are not the same, they are not equal. That's why Buddha pointed out this cetasika can be conditioned for what? By what? By what condition? So vitakka arises with each citta except the 10. So its function is to touch, no matter it arises with any citta, lokuttara citta or lokiya citta. Its function is only that, while the other cetasika cannot have such paccaya, like phassa. It's not the jhana paccaya, but it can be ahara paccaya. So he just pointed out the cetasikas, which one can perform such and such by its potential, or whatever it can be conditioned by such condition. That's why each cetasika are different. Like with what you call vipaka. See, we talk about vipaka citta. Even citta, they are different too, be different conditions, but they can condition rupa and so on. In the details of the citta and cetasikas, by way of paccaya, by way of element, dhatu, by way of ayatana, because even in Paticcasamuppada it talk about parsayatana, or any, like manayatana, parsayatana, lopa ayatana, dosayatana, everything can be ayatana when it's there. So it doesn't mean that there are only these number, but that one can be what type or what kind of function or conditions.
So actually, if we're talking about Jnana we have to just talk about each one
Each
separately,
cetasika,
and
which
each
can
one
be or which is.
which is, and
Yeah.
because of its particular
Yeah.
function when it arises,
Yeah.
and that's why those ones are jhana pacha, but it doesn't mean they all arise together or it's all kusala or anything like that. So it just depends on each one.
More or less by the cetasikas which accompany at that moment. So we can say that phassa cannot be jhana paccaya. It's not jhana paccaya. Vedana is. See. Mhm.
Maybe if it wasn't called jhana paccaya, it wouldn't be so difficult to contemplate. But because it's got that name jhana, then we make the association with what we know about jhana. But really, it's just another condition where they have a function of, I don't know, being absorbed in the object, something like that, to a greater or lesser degree.
And it means that without vitakka vichara, the samatha bhavana cannot develop. So it needs vitakka vichara. So it is the jhana paccaya of this, and it's not only that, it's jhana paccaya of that. Anytime when it arises, it is jhana paccaya.
So we cannot say just generally that all the jhana factors assist the citta to be fixed on the object, because we can only say that about, say, vitakka. We can't say that about
That's
all
why
factors.
how vitakka condition the development of jhana, and how vichara
Yes.
and piti and so on.
In another way.
So the term I've seen is that these factors assist the citta to be absorbed in the object. That is what they have in common. That each perform a function, but the ekagata, his function is to focus on a single object, but the function of, or the condition of these is to have some degree of weak or strong absorption in the object.
But I think Ajahn's, because that's what I've also read, with Ajahn saying we cannot say that all those. Ajahn saying we cannot say that all the factors play that role of assisting the citta to be absorbed in the object.
To be calm. That's why there must be vitakka. Are we talking about the jhana development?
Jhana paccaya or the
The
I was
jhana
talking about jhana paccaya.
I see.
Not jhana factors. Yeah.
But no matter what it is, the development of samatha and vipassana needs vitakka.
Right.
Yeah. Different level.
Yep.
But if we're talking about jhana paccaya, we cannot say that all the factors or the cetasikas help the citta to be absorbed in the object, like somanassa. One cannot say that the function of somanassa is to help the citta be absorbed in the object.
Because it arises with almost every citta, so it depends on the other cetasikas arising, whether what level of akusala or attachment or calm or right understanding.
Right. But whenever it arises, it's jhana paccaya, as I understand. So there has to be something that's in common between all those 7 mental factors when they arise in terms of conditioning nature.
Ekagata?
Well, I think, as I understand, ekagata is what focuses the citta on a single object, one only. But then this is something different to that. This relates to the, as I've seen it expressed, absorption in the object.
So, if we cannot say that they all assist the citta to be absorbed or fixed on the object, because, as you say, somanassa arises of all kinds of cittas, all kinds of degrees, kusala, akusala,
or vipaka,
even vipaka at a moment of
Kiriya.
pleasant bodily feeling, I think also sukha. So, what is the common factor? The aspect of burning? Because at the moment,
opposite reality.
The opposite reality. Because at that moment of somanassa, no domanassa.
I'm not inclined to that.
Kusala vitaka burns the akusala vitaka.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about just vitaka, which arises after seeing with vipaka
I don't
cittas?
agree
What
with
does
that.
it burn?
Through what doorway?
Like, let's say through the eye door after a moment of seeing,
No, it's just vitaka.
just touch the object.
In order to have the same object as the seeing.
Right. So
Because it cannot see.
because we're just trying to find what is the common basis for being jhana paccaya, because we cannot say that they all have the function of
Can
absorbing
Can we say that since it touch, it is the factor of jhana paccaya? Because the development of jhana vitaka has to touch and touch and touch on right object for calmness.
I understand when jhana is developed that there is burning, but I am not so inclined to stress burning for the jhana paccaya, because there is the word jayati, and there are two different stems with different meanings. One is burning and one is being fixed on an object. That is another meaning. So I'm not so inclined to think of burning for jhana paccaya.
But why is somanassa jhana paccaya then?
Yeah.
Because its role is not to help citta fix on an object.
No, that's right.
So why do you think it's
Why,
jhana
yeah.
paccaya then?
That's why we have to study one reality at a time.
So the function of somanassa, or its role, is different from that of vitaka. So vitaka is helping the citta to fix or
Yeah.
even be absorbed on the object, but that of somanassa is to burn domanassa when it arises.
That is
Because it's
strange
the
to
opposite.
me. That is strange to me.
It means that at moment of somanassa there cannot be domanassa.
That is clear.
Yeah.
That's the meaning of it.
Yeah. But I read something, I don't know whether it is the commentary or not, that you cannot even take one step forward without the jhana paccaya. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because cannot take one step forward without vitaka and vichara, and cannot
That's why
think
it's
in a wholesome or unwholesome way or anything without.
That's why it's compared vitaka as the foot of the world. Because seeing just see, that's all. But after that, there must be vitaka with chittas.
Where does vichara fit in? What is it's on? Vitaka touches the object, but vichara, doesn't it have a stronger role?
It's the helper.
Helper only.
Vitaka, they go together, they arise together.
They're
except
always
on
together, except in one of the jhana.
Second jhana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So vitaka is the main
enough
one.
not to have vitaka. It can be calm without vitaka because it's the higher level of jhana.
Yesterday there was a discussion among some of us about light. So know that the moment of seeing consciousness experiences visible object at that moment is light. And that after that, seeing consciousness falls away, and other citta continue in the same process, and the rupa, which is visible object, is still there, not fallen away yet. So the question is, at those moments, is it light or is it dark?
The same object, but it does, the citta, which is sampatichana, cannot see, does not see, but it has the same object by vitaka of that object.
Did you see?
Could you use the microphone? Give him the microphone.
I want to say again because I didn't heard it.
Seeing sees, the other citta which experience the same object does not see. Panchatavara vachana, the first viti citta before seeing does not see. See? And only seeing see. After seeing sampatichana, which follows, does not see all along until the rupa falls away.
But it's the same aramana.
Right.
It's the same object of, of
One
experience.
away.
And what is the meaning of aramana for the sampatichana? Because the light is the
Yes,
aramana.
but not seeing.
Yeah, I understand it's not the function of seeing, but
It receive
the
vitaka,
aramana.
take it,
But
touch it,
the
have
light,
it,
I mean,
object, no
Object.
matter what, no matter light or hardness or sound or whatever.
So no light appearing at those moments at all.
Only at the moment of seeing. At the other moments,
But the
Nothing
object
seen.
must be the same,
it's the
which
same
is
object,
there.
but no, not it's not
It
seen.
experiences the same object. so
So
so